now, and then so we started our journey with operating system. We told that there is something called operating system, which will facilitate my software and hardware communication. When I talk about software or talk about operating system, I see Windows, Linux, and Mac OS as three primary operating systems. In this, Windows and Mac is mostly used for user interface, GUI. But when I talk about servers, I need something which is lightweight and easy to use. So I go to Unix or Linux. When I talk about Unix or Linux, they are mostly the same, but there is a history behind it. Unix is a property of Bell Laboratories, which was sold to companies like Unix, Solaris, HP, and all. And Linux, on that, contrary to that, is a free software which is easily available and can be downloaded from any internet open source. Once you download it from internet, you get the community version. Community version means it is free of cost. Nobody will support you in case there is a failure. So what we do is we go ahead and buy the enterprise version in case we are planning to do any kind of a business. If you're doing for a normal use, then nobody is asking you to buy any license for that. So we come to know that there is something called Linux, which is going to serve as an operating system. It is simple, lightweight, easy to install. It gives me multiple distributions like Red Hat, Fedora, SUSE, Debian, Ubuntu, Amazon Linux. So there is a big list of operating systems available. It is free of cost. Nobody has to buy anything here. It gives you a better malware protection, give you access to the source code. So anybody who wants to go ahead and make changes can go ahead and make changes to the source code. And finally, it also allows multiple users to log in. Then I started my work. And when I say I started my work, I saw that there is something called kernel. And this kernel is something where I can write on the shell of the kernel, I can write my scripts. There is no layer in between, and hence the shell scripts or the commands which I write is comparatively faster. Then I told that let's go ahead and create an AWS account, and we created an AWS account, something like this. I told choose a region. You can go and choose any region of your choice and start your work from there. So let me say my region is Mumbai for today, and I'm going to my EC2 instance. I told you how to create a EC2 instance, and when you create a EC2 instance, what is security group and all those things, what is key pair, I told you everything. Once you have your instance, you can go ahead and say, you can stop and keep it. Don't keep it up and running, because if you keep up and running, unnecessary charges will be involved. So this is what I created, and I have kept it in stop state. Now I would like to go ahead and start. I told you that when you stop your machine, the public IP address is gone. You can go ahead and allocate an elastic IP so that the IP remains permanent, but there's no use of this. So I just avoid doing that. Apart from that, I also see that I get a permanent IP or a private IP, which is usually for my internal communication. So this is mostly used for my internal communication. Then on top of that, okay. So how to stop an instance? Simply come here, instance state, and click on this stop. Click on this. So let me say I want to stop this one. Or let me just come here. This is running, so I want to stop it. Come here and say stop. That's it. So now I have it in start state. So it is up and running. Now that's it. Now it is in running. So I will go ahead and log in. Now to log in, there are multiple ways in which you can log in. You can simply click on this connect. Go to EC2 connect and directly connect from here. So it is giving me that IP address is not there. So let me just refresh and come back. It will have an IP address. Refresh this guy. Just click a refresh here. It will refresh. Go back here. Connect. And you can see you're getting the IP address. EC2 user is the default user, and you can connect. This is the easiest way to connect. But most of the times this is disabled. So you go by this method. If I'm using Mac operating system, directly you can connect. But if you're using a Windows operating system, like how I am doing, then you need a tool like Putty. I will install here, or if you have not installed, you should go ahead and install and say Putty. Once you say Putty, you get the stuff here. Now in your security group, port 22 should be open. You can see here port 22 is required if you have to connect to your machine. Now it says host name or IP address. So I'll go back to my instance and look for the host name or IP address. So this is my machine and this is my IP address. Copy the IP address, come here and put it here. Then appearance, change the font size so that it is visible to you clearly. Go ahead and make it as 16. Okay. Then SSH, auth, browse. Go ahead and Linux KP is what I was using. Open it up. It will ask you whether you want to continue. Say yes, I would like to continue. After that, it will say login as. So say EC2 minus user and you log in. Now it is saying I have authenticated you as a EC2 user. You have used your key pair or Linux key pair, which is a password, and all set. You can go inside. It is gone. And now I can see this is my private IP address and this is my default user. I would like to change this. So I will come here and say sudo. We come here and say sudo su hyphen. Sudo su hyphen means make me a root user. So, okay. Yesterday in the sudo ers sudo user file, there was some error, so it is highlighting that. That's okay. So let me just come here and say sudo su hyphen. Unable to initialize the policy again. Okay. Then I have to go ahead and change the file vi sudo vi sudo. Now, if the problem continues, I have to leave this machine and go for a different machine. Sudo. Okay. So this is giving me a problem. So I will just quickly go ahead and delete this machine, create a new one and work with that. You don't want to sit here and debug. So if you want to terminate your machine, simply come here and say terminate and it gets terminated. Means termination means shutting down, permanently gone. You cannot get it back. I'm going to launch a new instance so that this work resumes as usual. I'll just give the same name, my Linux server. I'm going with Amazon Linux, which is free tier, T2 micro, which is free. Key pair, I'm going to use the key pair which I have here, Linux KP. Rest everything I'll leave as it is. I will go ahead and select a security group which I have created. I'll go with web security group. That is all 8 GB of 8 GB of space. Go ahead and say launch. So you can see I have got a new ARN or Amazon resource name. And I'm going a bit fast here because I've already covered all these things in my prior class. At any point of time, if you feel that you're not able to understand, then please stop. Anyhow, this is my IP address. Again, I will connect Putty. Who is your IP? So this is my IP. In the appearance, increase the font size 16. Okay. SSH, auth, browse. Go ahead and say Linux KP. Open it up. This time accept. Says what is the username? I will say EC2 minus user is the default user. And it is allowed me to connect. If you see, I have logged in as a EC2 user. I will upgrade myself as a root user. So I say sudo su hyphen and I upgrade myself as a root user. Now I say host name. Give any name of your choice. Let me say Linux server. Sorry, the spelling is wrong. Host name Linux server. And again, sudo su hyphen. And I can see root @ Linux server has logged in. Everything is good, then clear everything. Now I started my work. The first work which I did is I added a user. So I did something like this, user add, and I added a user called Vikas. Then I allocated him a password saying passwd Vikas. This is the password, PASS123456. PASS123456. Okay, it says all token updated successfully, means my work is done. Now, if I want, I can log in as Vikas. So I can say Su Vikas. So I'm able to log in here as Vikas. I don't want now, so I'll just exit and come out. As of now, the user has been created, but the user does not have any permission. I want to give him a set of permission. So in that case, I will come here and say vi sudo, and I'll give him a set of permissions. Can any other use sudo su hyphen? Yes. Other user can use sudo su, but he will not become a root user. He will just go back to the different user. Sudo su hyphen means make me the root user, or switch or give the control to root user. So the control will automatically go to the root user if you give sudo su hyphen. So this is what we were supposed to do. So I will say escape I came in insert mode, Vikas, and now I will use this. Basically, this means all equal to all, means give me all the privileges and don't ask me for password. Escape colon W Q exclamation mark, right quit and exit. Once this is done, okay, once this is done, so just remember what I have done. I have first created a machine, a Linux machine. I logged into that machine. After logging into that machine, I added a user. I changed myself as root user. I did a user add. I allocated him a password, and then I went ahead and allocate him some power. So for power, I go to vi sudo. The second file I'll go is cd. cd is change directory /etc /ssh. So now if you are seeing, I'm here, pwd. I'm inside etc folder. Inside etc folder, there is another folder called ssh. So I'm here. Now here, if I do ls -l, I will see this file sshd config. So I'll go ahead and edit this. Vi, change this. Go all the way inside. Keep going down towards the end. Okay. I think I have entered the wrong file. If you don't want to change this, then don't give W, just say Q and exclamation mark. So I think I have entered here. I should have entered here. SSHD config. So VI SSHD config. Go all the way down here. This guy. So this is what I'm supposed to do now. I am to change here. Escape I. Make the change. Escape colon WQ exclamation mark. So I have done. Everything is ready. Now, before going ahead, I will do SSHD, or I will do like this. Service SSHD restart. So I have restarted my service. Means whatever changes I have done, I have made it effective. Now, if you say CD, it will take you to the home directory. Home directory means things, the place from where things start. So in Windows machine, C drive is your home directory. Whatever you start your work, you start from C drive. Similarly, you can think this is C drive for you. What is the location? Location is PWD, and you see it is root. Now, from here also, I can go one step back. So I can say CD ... means go one more step back. So if you go one more step back and say PWD, you will see you are here, /. Now, from here, if you say ls -l, you will see the default folders or the inbuilt folders of Linux. This is where the source code is present. And I told you, you get complete access to source code. So let me say boot related content you want to change. So let me say you want to go inside this folder, boot, ls -l. Here there are boot related. When your system starts, it is booting of the system. So there are boot related details. If you want, you can go ahead and change it. You have access, you have root privilege. So definitely you can go ahead and change it. Okay. So this is how we configure these changes. Okay. But I'm not touching anything because this is system related thing. And if I change something, then something may go wrong and then it will be a trouble. So I'm not touching all these things, but just want to show you that if you come here, CD, you come to the home directory. One more step back, if you go to the default folder of Linux or Unix. All the things are here. Bin, boot, dev, etc, home, local, media, mount, everything is here. Now, what does this signify? So there are two things which you should understand here. One is this particular folder signifies that each component has a meaning. Like bin has a meaning, dev has a meaning, etc has a meaning. What is that meaning? So bin stands for user binary or the binary format files which are stored here. Boot stands for boot related files. Dev stands for device files. Home stands for user home directory. Media, if you have connected some media. OPT, application software packages. So basically each file has its own significance. Do I need to learn all these things? No, you don't have to learn anything. But most of the time you will be using this etc file, the configuration file, and you just need to know how to navigate and just need to know that there is some file where these navigation related details are present. Okay. If you are adding some additional memory, yeah, it will be here in the mount folder. So mount point for temporary mounted file system. So you've added some extra storage. Then you have libraries, some external libraries if you have put here. So basically this is the root directory, and here, from here, the entire Unix will be monitored, or entire Linux will be monitored. Moving ahead. So we just now saw a command called user add. We added a user called Vikas and we allocated him a password, passwd. So I want to check that. Where can I check that? So let's come to CD. So you told that you have created a user Vikas and you have added him. Can you show me where he is? So you can come here and say cat. Cat is my display command. Now, sir, you know everything. How I will also remember all these things. Just need to know there is a command called cat and then say -- help. So it will basically tell you what this command is going to do. So all the story here, it will give you your standard output. So it is basically for display. So like this, any command you feel that you should know more about that, just come here and say -- help. If you don't have comfort in -- help, come here and say man. Man is manual. Manual cat. Like, 1 second. Okay. So when you buy a new product, okay. Now, because when you buy a new product, then generally what happens, they give you a user manual. So here also you get a manual. Man is the command and manual is the full form. So manual will tell you what that command stands for, but reading these manuals and all will be a headache. So I would request you to go ahead and see your cheat sheets, the Linux cheat sheets or the Unix cheat sheets which are available. They give you a better understanding of what it is. Now, there's a question from Vishwa. It says, if we forget to add password for the user, then there will be any default password? No. See, one thing is root password you should not forget. Okay. Because if you forget the root password, then your instance is of no use. It has to be deleted. But in case there is a different user, let me say a user like Vikas or any other user, and if you have not allocated him a password, or if you forgot his password, no need to worry. You can anytime come and reset the password. So just come here and say Q means quit. Sorry, quit and come out. So let me say I forgot the password for this guy, Vikas. So I'll say pass WD and Vikas. You can again come and set a new password. Let me say new password is new pass 123. New pass 123. So I can again set the password for this guy. So the password has changed. So in case it's a normal user, you can anytime reset his password. But in case it's a root user, then you cannot reset the password. That is what you have given during the instance. That's what you have given during the instance creation. Okay. So this is one. Where will I see all these things? I'll see all these things. Cat etc. And there is a place called passwd. Now this is the place where all the users are stored. Means root user who has 0 privilege or the highest privilege. So this is stored here. Then you have bin user, daemon, ADM, LP, sync. Each user will have its own task to do. I'm interested in these two users, EC2 user and Vikas user. So EC2 user is your default user. And if you see, he has 1000 as his priority, means he has very less privilege. Similarly, this guy Vikas has 1001 priority because he also is a new user or a custom user, which we have just now created. So when you say priority, he is at the lowest priority. So this is what we see here. That etc password is the place where the username and the UID will be stored. Now, what is UID? Now, every user, like this is the root user. So every user will get the ID. So when you say ID and enter, you will see UID, which is a user ID, GID, which is a group ID, and group means to what all groups he belongs to. Let me say, I come here and say Su Vikas, and I say ID. So I can see this Vikas user belongs to user group 1001. His group is also 1001. And he only belongs to Vikas group at this point of time. If you add more groups, then he will go into those groups. But as of now, he only belongs to this group. Exit. I want to come back as a root user. So there is a command called ID, which will tell you what is the user ID, what is the group ID, and to which all groups he belongs. Then I already told you, you can write this command called who am I. Who am I will tell you who logged in, what is his login, which username will be reflected here. So many times, if you are not sure this name is not giving you the correct information, then you can write who am I, and it will tell you which user has logged in. Similarly, you are typing lots of commands, hundreds and commands, thousands of commands. You don't know the commands which you typed in past, or you forgot all the commands. You can come here and say history. So when you say history, it will show you all the commands which you have typed. If you are using this server, let me say for 1 year, and you have typed some 2000 commands, all the 2000 commands will be here. So history of the commands remain as it is. Even if you don't delete it, then it will not get deleted. Now, one very important thing which many interviewers ask, I would like to bring it here. When you log in as a root user, see the symbol here. The symbol is like this. At the end, there is a hash. But the moment you log in as Vikas user, this symbol changes to $. See here, this symbol is $. At the end, you see the symbol is $. So this is a very important interview question, which says, how by seeing a user, I will come to know whether he is a root user or he is a random user. So if you see hash at the end, you will see he is a root user. If you see $, at the end, it means he is a normal user. Okay. Let me just exit from here. So I'm back to my root user. Last. Now, last is a command who will tell you how many people have logged in. till date, how many people have logged in, when they logged in, and what they were doing. So last is the command. Reboot means when you start your system, obviously reboot will log in. The reboot initially logged in at 1342. After that, EC2 user logged in and he is still logged in. So let me say on my project, parallelly 5 people are working. Then I can just come here and say last, and it will show me all the 5 users that they have logged in. And from what duration they have logged in, what they are doing, what is the duration. So duration will be here. When they logged in, when they log off, those kind of details can be captured here. Okay. Then many a times you will be dealing with folders and files. To see what is present in the folder or file, you use a command called ls-l. So ls is a list command. List command means show. Now, if you are working on a Windows machine, let me say this is a Windows machine. You simply come here, say, I'll go to downloads. In downloads, I'll go inside this file. Let me say I'm going inside Ansible file. And in Ansible file, I'm going inside this file. So if you see here, the path is set. And then finally, you go to this file. So you can do something like this. You can see the path here. C:user and then the path. So I can see the path, right? The full path. And also I can navigate in the sense I directly want to go to downloads. So I can click here. Then I want to go here. I can click here. So all these navigations can be done using mouse in the Windows machine. But the same navigation cannot be done on Linux machine. So what we do is we use cd command. cd and the path name. So if you give the path like this, cd, go inside, cd means change directory, go inside the folder etc. Inside that folder, there is another folder called var. Inside that, there is www. Inside that, there is HTML. So you keep going inside folder, inside folder, inside folder, and you will find the content. So this is the change directory. But if you want to come back, you say cd dot dot. cd dot dot means bring me one step back. Now the question can be, if I want to come 2 step back, backslash, 2 step back. So if you want to come 2 step back, you say cd backslash and dot dot. Then you will come 2 steps back or 2 folders back. So cd is change directory command. It is used to either go forward or backward when you are in Linux machine. If you want to know more details about cd, you can say cd -- help. Or you can say man, and it will tell you what cd can do. The various types, options, everything will be mentioned here. But again, too much to read. Q. So just quit and come out. Enter Q in your keyboard. Come out. So this is done. I came to know that there is some cd command and how to use cd. Now I want to create a folder. So the command will be mkdir and the name of the folder, sample directory. So I'm saying mkdir sample directory, enter. Now ls-l, I can see this is the sample directory. Now you will say, how will I, or why will I know that this is a directory? I don't believe that this is a directory. So if you come here to Notepad, so the first character denotes whether this is a directory or a normal file. One second. Okay. So the first character denotes whether it's a file, it's a directory, what kind of it is. Now, if I create a file, how I create a file? vi file 1.txt. And now I want to write. So escape I. This is file 1. Escape colon WQ exclamation mark. Okay. So this is what I see here. I can see my file has been created. So I do ls minus L and I can see this file. If I take this file, I see a hyphen in the beginning. So hyphen denotes it's a normal file. Now, how to copy the file? Simply highlight. Means in Linux, you simply highlight that with your browser, with your cursor, it will automatically get copied. So first is hyphen D. You can also have a special character file C, binary file B. So these combinations are possible. So this is the possibility. When you say ls minus L, it can be a D, which will denote a file or a directory, or it is a hyphen, which is a normal file. If it is a special file, a file with special characters, it will be C. And if it is a binary file, it will be B. So you can go ahead and create files. So there are other commands also like touch, nano, vim. There are many other commands, but I'm not going with that because as of now, if I start talking about that, it will create confusion. But there are many other commands to create files and all. It is very similar to Windows machine where a file can be opened in Word. It can be opened in MS Word. The same file can be opened in WordPad, Notepad, Notepad++, Atom Editor, Visual Studio Editor. So there are so many editors available. So I don't want to, in the beginning only, get confusion from those stuffs. So I'm just using one editor, VI editor, and I'm sticking to that. What is file with characters? Characters, special characters like underscore, hyphen, all those things will be special character files. So many a times you will deal with encoded files like base64 encoding or such files, then you call that as a character file or a special character file, basically. Okay. Once that's done, I go ahead and talk about these permissions. If you see carefully, I see 9 letters here, RWX, R-X, and RXX. Like in yesterday's class, I told you, if it is written as RWX, it means read, write, execute. I have all the permissions. If it is written R hyphen means only read permission is there. If it is written hyphen X, hyphen means no access, X means execute permission. So if you see here carefully, I can make out that it has been given RWX, R-X, R-X. What does it mean? So the first set of this stands for your owner. Who is the owner of the file or who has created the file? The one who created the file or one who created the folder is the owner of the folder. So we treat him as an owner. So the first one stands for owner. The second one stands for group. Group, I just now showed when I did a UID, the user may belong to a group. Because when you work on a production environment, you will see that if you are the Linux admin, you will not be, but if you are the Linux admin, then there are 100 people who will come to you. They will say, okay, give me this access, give me this access, give me this access. And if somebody is coming and saying, give me admin access, definitely you will not give it, but there will be 100 people who will be coming and asking for a lot of access and all. If individually you have to go and check, okay, do you need this? Do you don't need this? Okay, why do you need this? So it will be a big trouble for you just to assign the power. And once the candidate is gone, to delete all his credentials. So it will be a big trouble for you. So what we do is we group all of them into one single user. And we treat them as one single unit. In that scenario, we start using group. So for me, group will be a collection of n number of users. So if I am the user, what permission I will get? If there is a group of users who belong to my group only, then what permissions they will have, and any other random user, what permission they will have. So this basically denotes about the permission. At any point of time, you can change the permission. If you have access to change it, at any point of time, you can go and change the permission. Then there is a symbolic link. I told it is just for priority, so you can ignore it for time being. Then comes the owner name. Who is the owner? And then to which group he belongs to. So the name of the owner, the name of the group, then size of the file, and finally the date and time of the file when it was created. So going forward, if anybody comes and say ls minus l, you should be able to understand what this word means, W, what this root means, what this July 14th means. So you should be in a great position to tell them what is what. Okay. And if it is 14, what does it mean? If it is 6, what does it mean? So you should know what it is. Whenever you have a file, suppose this is a file. If you want to copy the content, the copy command is very simple. You can simply say cp, the source. So let me say the source is file 1. I want to copy it to a destination. My destination is, let me say, file 2. So I'm copying the content of file 1 to file 2. Now, if I come here and say ls minus l, I will see file 1 and file 2, both are there. Both are exact replica of each other. Now I remember that, oh, I should not have mentioned it as file 2. I should rename it. Now remember, there is no rename command in Linux. Rather, there is a move command. Move file 2 content to new file. Sorry, file 2.txt to new file. So I can see the name has been changed. The content did not change, but the name has been changed. Now, I've copied the file, I've moved the file. Now let me say I want to delete this file. Okay, so I can simply say rm minus rf. So rm means remove, rf means remove forcefully. And you can go ahead and remove that file. What happens? It is completely deleted. Can I get it back? No, it is gone. So you cannot get it back. Then what else I can do? Can I copy my folder like that only? I'll show you. Now let me first go inside this folder, sample dir. Inside this, I will create another file. So just remember, I am here inside sample directory. Okay, I'll say vi inside file dot txt escape I inside folder file changes escape colon wq exclamation mark. So ls minus l. So if you see carefully, this is the file name, and where is it? pwd. It is inside root, inside sample directory. I want to come one step back. cd dot dot. Now it is very important for you to practice, because there are many students who will say cd without space dot dot. cd in capital letter. Then they'll say, sir, it is not working. It will not work. It is case sensitive. It needs indentation, proper spacing. So be very careful when you're typing the commands. More importantly, when you're typing the commands, you should be careful with the syntax. So I did cd dot dot ls minus l. I have a folder called sample directory. I want to copy it. Just now I ran the command something like this. I copied the content of file 1 to file 2 and it easily went to, there was no problem. But now if I do the same thing, I want to copy the content of sample directory to, let me say, new sample directory. Will it work? See, if you talk about error wise, yes, it will work. Okay, so here it is giving me an error. It is saying sample dir copy. So it is not allowing me to copy. Okay, why? Because that's not the right command. You could say here -r, minus capital R. So it is telling, I just don't want to copy the folder alone. With the folder, inside whatever subfolders are there, I want to copy everything. And this time it is done. And you can see here, a new sample directory has been created. If I go inside this, ls-l, I will see my text file getting copied. So it is very important that when you are dealing with directory, you also add a -r flag, which is like this. Okay. Now, again, I don't want to delete, I want to keep it. So rm-rf, new sample directory, and you can delete it. So this is how you create a file, delete a file. Is there a different way? Yes, you can use this also. rmdir. So when you say rmdir, means remove the directory, and you can also go ahead and delete it. Same like this. So it is saying directory is not empty, it has failed. So you can come here and say rmdir -f. Or you can say -force. So that's why rmdir I don't prefer. It's not taking that. So rmdir is telling first empty the bucket, then I will be able to delete it. That's why I say rm-rf and the delete whatever you want to delete. See, it got deleted. So rmdir is not that great. So don't rely on rmdir. Rather, go ahead and delete it forcefully in case you need it to delete it. You need to delete it. So this is the file permission. Now,
how to do cutting and cut, like in the Windows will do cut and paste.
Cut and all is not here. You have to just copy and take it, whatever you have to do, or you have to use a.
Okay, suppose copy a file from one folder to another folder.
Then you have to give the absolute path. See, so if you have to copy, let me say the folder which you want to copy is here, etc, and then var and sample.txt. So this is present here. So your destination you will tell. So let me say my destination is here, temp bless, and so you will give it like this. So you're saying the source is here, means the file is here, means inside etc, it is inside var. Then you can say it is destination is this temp bless. So it will go and copy there. So if source and destination both are not at same place, you have to give the absolute path, means full path of the source and full path of the destination. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
One more small question. We can one file to the several users, right? We can copy same file to the several users.
Obviously. You can copy 200 users.
Thank you.
Okay. Now, whenever, see, another very important interview question which you get is that my application is running slow. What should I do? So you can run this command called top. So top command is kind of all control delete what you have in Windows. Here you have top command. So top command basically tells you everything related to your machine. Like if you see here, I can see top command I ran. This is the command I ran. Here it is telling you that this machine is up and running from last 36 minutes. One user logged in. The average load is 000. Total 97 tasks are available, out of which only one is running. 54 is sleeping. Okay. 0 is stopped and 0 is zombie task. Now, again, a very important question. What is zombie task? So let me say there is a scenario. A will trigger B, B will trigger C. Okay. And then it will close. Now A triggered B, but B has to trigger C. Now suppose C has failed. C did not run. Then B, it will say whom to trigger. So it is in a no man state. It's like, no, it does not aware what to do. Simply it is running. So any such process is known as zombie process. Okay. So zombie process are those processes which are unnecessary, running without a reason. They don't know how to get terminated and they keep running. So at a regular interval, we should go ahead and clean the zombie task in case there are any. So first is you do all control, you do a top file, see what all changes, what all things are running, how many users are logged in. And then here it will tell you what percentage of CPU is that process using. So this is one process. Like that in down also, there are so many processes. So what percentage of CPU it is using and what memory it is using. So if you see that one of my machine is taking almost 90% of my CPU, you can go and check why that stuff is taking 90% of your CPU. So in that case, you will have to go ahead and either stop that application or reallocate more memory. When I talk about memory, I told I started with, let me say, I started with these many memory, but certain amount of memory is exhausted or taken away. So now I'm left with a certain amount of money. So whenever they will ask you to debug, the first thing you can do is you can come to top command, see what processes are running. If the processes which are running are genuine ones, then don't do anything. In fact, you cannot do anything. You have to just increase the capacity of your machine. That is one. But in case this machine is to be dropped or deleted, you will see how much CPU it is taking and you can drop or delete that machine. Not only that, it will also tell you the percentage of memory getting used. 5%, 10%, who is using 70%. So all these things will be tracked from here, and then time and then all those things. Now assume that there is a command or there is a process which is running and I don't need it. Okay. So in that case, I will come all the way down here, or you can keep going down. Control C means come out. I will come here and check which process is consuming highest time. So I'll come and say PS minus A. So PS minus A is processor minus A. Means processor show me everything. So it will show you these are the tasks which is running. Now earlier you have already identified that this is the task number which is causing a lot of problem. So in case it is a non-critical item, you can come here and say kill -9 and the process ID. Let me say I want to delete this. So the work here will be kill -9 and the ID. So if you do like that, then it will go ahead and kill this process, or it will not allow this process to run. 3753. Then
how do you know what to kill?
How to know what is kill? I just now showed you, right?
No, I'm saying, how do you know what to kill so that you don't destroy the system?
See, anything which is managed by root, it is being managed as a part of your system. But down the line, if you see something, just keep going down. Let me say, this is the user lib sort. I know he's not doing anything. He's simply logging, and I don't need logging right now. I can terminate this. This is his process ID, or this is his PID. I will take the PID and I will go ahead and stop. So obviously when you're running here, you like EC2 user. So I can go by the assumption that whatever EC2 is running is of not that importance. So I can terminate his work. Obviously, I will have to make a smart decision. I need to know what CPU I will be able to free once I stop his process, or what percentage memory it is taking. Now, let me say there is a process which is running from last 24 hours. So probably it may not be that critical. Again, it is critical, you do not do anything. But in case it is critical, non-critical, then you surely should go ahead and delete it. So for performance improvement, the first thing what we do is we go ahead and check the processes which are running, and all such processes which are very much time consuming, they are not doing any great work, I will simply start to make a note of that so that later I can fix them. Then I'll also see how much CPU memory is getting utilized. So these are the two major factors. One is your compute power and the other one is your storage. So I'll also see how much amount of storage it is taking. And again, you should be aware what you're trying to do. So without knowing, you should never run a kill command. So you should know what process you are stopping. If you are very confident that this process has to be stopped, then only go and say kill -9. 9 gives you a highest priority here. So kill -9 and the process ID. And finally, that job will get terminated.
Is it okay to assume that top is the same thing with task manager on Windows?
Yes, I just not told that. If you do a Alt-Control-Delete, you open your task manager and it is same as your task manager. So the top also does the same thing as what Alt-Control-Delete does in Windows.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. So I just now use top command. It shows me all the activities which are running for foreground, background. Now I will deal with permissions. I told you that whatever files I have, if I talk about R, the permission is 4. If I talk about W, the permission is W is showing me the load and all. Okay. W stands for your write. Okay. Ignore this W for timing. And then X denotes your execute power. So W should be 2. So W write, read 4. So now if I have a file and I want to change the permission, so let me say this is my file. I want to give everyone every permission. So I'll say chmod. Okay. 777. Why 3 times? First time for the user, second time for the group, and third time for any other user. And I will give the file name. What will I see? Sorry. It should be ls-l. You can see here RWX, RWX, RWX. So all the users got all the power. Now, I would like to revoke the access. I would like to only give read access to my user, and others I don't want to give any access. So now if I come back here and run the same command, I can see only read access is there. So you can play with the numbers and you can just decide on what kind of permission would you like to give. Obviously, root user is the default user. He has all kind of access. Now, if you see carefully, this file is owned by root user. I want to change the owner of this file. Okay. As of now, root is the owner. I want Vikas to be the owner of this file. So this command is a little bit different. Change owner. So people say chown or chown, whatever you say, chown and the user followed by the group to which he belongs and the stuff. So now if I come here and say ls-l, you can see the file is now owned by Vikas. Okay, so I can change this level of permission. I can change this level of permission. So permissions can be changed by chown or chmod. Chmod is for this RWX thing and chown is for this kind of thing. That is permission.
So the file name is coming automatically or you are pasting it?
Okay. Any command which you see on Linux. any command which you see on Linux. So what I'm doing is, whatever command I ran sometime back, if I want to check that, I'll use this key. Okay, so I can navigate the commands which I have run in past. I can navigate. Now I want to run this command. So I'll say ls-l. I know there is a file with the name f. So first I'll give the first name and I'll use tab key. This will be auto-filled. Okay, so you don't have to type every time. Okay.
So if any user can easily change your file and make it theirs, what is the security there?
That's what every user cannot do it. I am a root user. That's why I am able to do it. Not any other user will be able to do it.
Okay.
And always the owner and the group should be the same for the file, or it can be anything.
Not required. Not required.
Okay, can we change like that? So we have changed the owner, right? With cast the colon because. So if you want to change only the group. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
You can make these kind of changes.
Huh.
Now, one more very common issue which we face in servers is storage problem. So I will use this command called free. So free will tell me what amount of memory is totally allocated, used, free, what amount of buffer memory or cache memory is available, and total how much memory is available. Okay. Now there is another command called free minus m. So if you say free minus m, it will show you in megabytes or MB. So 965 MB was the total allocation which was done, out of which 104 MB was used. 302 is free. Altogether 723 MB of data is free. The same can be seen here, df minus h. It will tell you altogether you allocated him 8 GB of data, out of which 1.66 is used, 20%, and 6.5 gigs is available. Okay, and there is something called buffer memory here. So this buffer memory also adds up when you talk about the total memory. So second problem which most of the servers face is they run out of space. So many a times you will see that the server is running slow. So to debug, there are two major things which you can do. First, you can go ahead and see which processes are running and which processes are taking more time, more CPU, and unnecessarily running. You can kill those processes. Second is you can go to your storage and check what amount of storage is free. In case you see that there is something unwanted stuff, you should delete that and make your space available. So these are the two major things which you need to do in case you want to free your system and make it better when it runs at full capacity. Then grab phone. Okay, let me just come back here. Now, one very important command which we use is ping command. Ping. Ping will tell you whether we have connectivity or not. So it is a network related command. So I'll say ping google.com. So the moment I say ping google.com, I'm able to see that I was able to transmit 4 packets of data and I was able to get a response from google.com. So I have internet connectivity. The moment you see that you have internet connectivity, you can install softwares. This is an Amazon Linux machine. So how to install software? First, let me show you Git. It says Git not found. So I will go ahead and say yum install Git. So I'm saying yum install Git minus y. So it will install Git for me. Now, if you come here and say Git minus version, you will see Git is installed for you. So to install a software, the command will be yum install and the name of the software. Minus y is yes, I give you consent. Go ahead.
What is this Git?
Git is a software. It is a
use
it will come in the subsequent classes. Git is a software which will help you to store your code. So it is a repository basically. Okay. So this is a software for time being. Now, let me say some software is available over the internet. I want to take it from internet. So one such software is, let me say Tomcat. Now Tomcat, latest version. I want the latest version of Tomcat. Now, this is the software. Let me say this is the software tar. Now, if I double click on this, it will download on my local machine, but I don't want to download on my local. I want to download it on my cloud. Right click, copy link address, go back to your machine. And here you say wget, and the URL which you copied. Now what will happen? It will download it to your local machine. Local in the sense cloud machine. And you can see here, it got downloaded. Now, if you see, it is tar.gz. It is zipped and tar. So I want to untar it. So the command is tar minus xvzf and the name of the file. Yes, some commands are tricky. I do agree with that. But again, that will come with practice. And this is the unzipped or the untar format of your file. Now, I have covered fair amount of commands. I also have shared this content with your coordinators, the PPT which I was using. So please get in touch with your coordinator, take the content. Once the content is available with you, start practicing. Cheat sheet is very helpful. Take it from internet, start. Starting is the difficult point, okay? Once you start, you will feel enthusiastic, you will start learning. You cannot learn in one day. You cannot learn in 2 days. You will have to gradually start. Okay. Remember the first day when you started and today where you are, 3 days approximately, you will see the difference. You will see that, okay, I know something. At least from some other person who is sitting next to me, I know more than him. That is what is needed. Gradually, you will build your knowledge and you will make use of whatever you are learning. But practice is the key. There is no shortcut. Go wherever you want to, but there is no shortcut of hard work. Regularly, if you work, practice, 200% you will get success, guaranteed. So now I'll close the class. Before closing the class, anyone has any question, can please go ahead.
Because whenever we install application from repository, by default, will it get download latest version?
Yes, by default, it will go with the latest version.
Okay. Or if you want any particular version, we can.
Then you have to mention that particular version.
Okay.
Bro, I have a doubt in easy to instance.
Yeah.
So whenever we are creating key pairs, no. So when we download it, so it will be in the format of PEM key, right?
No. Whenever you create a key pair, okay, it gives you an option. So when you're creating it, make sure that you're using a PPK format. You can do a conversion, but I don't want to do unnecessary things now. That's why I am leaving it. But whenever you are creating, make sure that you use PPK. Don't go for PEM. So Windows and PEM.
So if it is a PEM, we need to convert it again.
You have to convert it. There is a tool called PuttyGen.
Right.
So you have to do a conversion. So as of now, I don't want to get into all those things. So I'm not going there. So
sir, what is SSH?
SSH is secure shell. See, 2 servers are there. Server A, server B. They want to talk with each other. So they will establish a SSH tunnel, which is known as a secure connectivity between both of them. That is called SSH. Anyhow, it will come in detail. I'll teach you when I'll be teaching you linking the servers. I'll teach you what is SSH, how to link the servers.
I noticed that your server already automatically connects to the internet and could ping Google.
Yes.
Is that because you have a public subnet?
Yes.
Or public IP?
I have a public IP, and that's what I stated in the beginning, that when I start as a EC2 user, I get a public IP address, and this public IP address will allow me to connect to the internet. And that's why I was saying that I will connect using my public IP address.
So if you have a server that is facing a private server,
then
how will you be able to install all of these things if you don't have internet access?
Then it will go in the networking side. In networking, you have something called NAT gateways, which I'll teach you when I'm teaching you VPC, virtual private cloud. There, all these things will come. Where even if you don't have an internet connectivity, you will want to connect to the internet and get the work done. So that's a different topic altogether.
Thank you.
So one thing which
sir, whatever.
Go ahead.
Sir, whatever the commands and everything you have done, all this will be saved in the AWS cloud, right?
Yes, everything is in cloud.
Okay. Can we see in AWS cloud that directly?
Yes, you go and put history here. In my cloud, I can see. Here, so I have run these many commands.
Okay.
Okay, one last thing.
So previous date also.
Till you don't terminate your machine, everything will be there. Obviously, after termination, nothing will be there. But before you terminate your machine, everything will be there. 2 days, 10 days, 1 year, everything.
Thank you.
One last
Sir,
thing.
here one simple question. When we are stopping our instance, and still we are able to see that history?
Yes.
Before
it will be there. Obviously,
without starting?
No, without starting, no. Without starting.
And it has to be in run.
Yes, it has to be in running state. Then only you can connect. Then only you will be able to see. So I have stopped it. And this also got stopped.
Okay.
So only root users history we can see. The other users can be.
Every user can see his own history. Root user can see everybody's history.
Okay.
One user can see his own history. Okay. Last thing. This entire content, okay, whatever we are teaching, is like a ball of spaghetti or a Maggie bowl, whatever you say. Many a times when you pick one thread, the other thread will automatically come out. But as of now, think it is very hot. So we will pick one thread, we will eat it, then we will take the other content. So there are many things which are interrelated. Many things which you will say, hey, he did not do like that. That's not like this. I will do that. Like somebody asked for SSH. I parked it aside because I know it will deviate. The moment you deviate, it will be like a jungle and then you will be lost. I don't want that thing to happen. We should take a track and then on that track, we start building and then you finally grab everything. That's the thing which we are looking at. Okay. So on that note, I'll be stopping now. We meet tomorrow and we continue from there. See you then, guys.
Thank you, Vikas.
Thank you.